You see the text come in. It sits right there on your screen, glaring at you. You tell yourself you'll reply in exactly 5 minutes, but then 5 minutes turns into 5 hours. 5 hours turns into 3 days, and suddenly you're completely off the grid. The unread badge on your messages app keeps climbing. Your friends are starting to wonder if you're okay. Your family thinks you're ignoring them or angry with them, but you're not angry. You're not trying to be mysterious, and you definitely aren't trying to hurt anyone's feelings. You're just gone. You retreat into your room, pull the covers up over your head, and let the world outside completely disappear. Does this sound familiar? Because if it does, you probably feel a deep, crushing wave of guilt every single time you do it. You think you're a bad friend, a flake, someone who just can't handle normal life like everyone else seems to. But I want you to take a deep breath right now and let go of that guilt. Society has this strange, pervasive obsession with constant availability. We are told that if we aren't reachable 24/7, if we aren't constantly replying and reacting and engaging with the world, there is something fundamentally wrong with us. People might look at your behavior and call you avoidant. They might label you as antisocial or tell you that you are deliberately pushing them away, but that is simply not true. You aren't disappearing because you don't care about the people in your life. You are disappearing because you care too much, and your nervous system is desperately trying to keep you safe from a world that feels incredibly overwhelming. Let's go back for a moment. Think about when you were a kid. Maybe you grew up in a house where emotions were always loud, where you constantly had to read the room the exact second you walked through the front door. You had to be the peacemaker, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause any extra trouble. Or maybe you just never had a space that was truly, entirely yours. You learned very early on that being around others meant being on. It meant managing their feelings, their expectations, their unpredictable moods. And carrying that invisible weight is exhausting. So you learned a survival mechanism. You learned how to vanish. You found safety in silence, in closed doors, in being completely alone where absolutely no one could demand anything from you. This behavior isn't just a quirky personality trait. It's a physiological response rooted deeply in your neurobiology. When we look at the groundbreaking research of Dr. Stephen Porges and his polyvagal theory, we can understand exactly what is happening inside your body. According to Dr. Porges, when our nervous system detects too much stimulation or threat, even if that threat is just the sheer emotional exhaustion of socializing, it shifts out of a state of social engagement. If the stress continues, our bodies don't just choose to fight or flee. We enter what is called a dorsal vagal shutdown. It is an evolutionary freeze response. Your brain literally cuts off the energy supply to your social faculties to conserve resources. Furthermore, if we look at Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive persons, we see that some nervous systems simply process sensory and emotional data much more deeply than others, leading to faster burnout. You aren't consciously choosing to ignore your friends. Your autonomic nervous system has pulled the emergency brake to protect you from total systemic collapse. Imagine a bustling, brilliantly lit metropolis. The streets are packed with traffic, the neon signs are flashing, the noise is absolutely deafening. For a while, the city thrives on this chaotic electric energy, but eventually, the power grid gets overloaded. The wires start to spark. The massive transformers heat up. If the city keeps running at full capacity, the entire grid will catch fire and burn to the ground. So, what does the city do? It initiates a rolling blackout. It shuts down the neon signs, it quiets the busy streets, It plunges entire blocks into temporary darkness, not to destroy the city, but to save it. When you disappear for days at a time, you are initiating your own rolling blackout. You are shutting down the grid so your internal wiring doesn't catch fire. But we have to be honest here, because there is a very fine line we walk. It is one thing to honor your body's legitimate need for rest. It is another to use isolation as a permanent hiding place. We cannot romanticize the act of pushing people away. If you are disappearing for weeks at a time, if you are severing ties with people who genuinely love you because the vulnerability of connection feels too terrifying, that is no longer a rolling blackout. That is a permanent power failure. Trauma might explain why we isolate, but it shouldn't dictate how we live the rest of our lives. We have to learn the difference between retreating to heal and retreating to hide. True connection requires letting people see you, even when your energy is low, even when you aren't perfectly on. But here is the incredible truth. This need to retreat, it's actually a profound strength. You have a built-in radar for inauthenticity. You know exactly when your energy is depleted. Most people just keep pushing. They ignore the signs, they burn out, they collapse. Not you. You know how to pause. You have a deep, rich inner world that you can actually tolerate sitting in. You don't need constant external validation to exist. When you step back from the noise, you reconnect with your deepest creativity. You process the world on a level most people never even access. Your disappearance isn't a flaw. It is a highly tuned calibration system. So, how do we manage this without alienating the people we care about? We do it with one tiny, simple step. The next time you feel that overwhelming urge to vanish, don't just drop off the map. Send what I call a ghost text. You don't need to over-explain yourself. You don't need to apologize. Keep it short. Keep it honest. Just copy and paste this exact sentence. Hey, my battery is running on empty right now, so I'm going offline for a few days to recharge. I'll reach out when I'm back. That's it. Hit send, then put your phone on airplane mode and go take the rest you actually deserve. If this video made you feel a little more understood today, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. We dive deep into the psychology of our everyday behaviors every single week, helping you decode your mind without the heavy jargon. Drop a comment below if you're a proud member of the Disappearing Club. And until next time, take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.